on my feet. Put y'all over me. Lower 10 and Valentino. You ain't getting what you see. Harder on my feet. Put y'all over me. Lower 10 and Valentino. You ain't getting what you see.
Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to stream. Welcome. Sunday, the 5th of October. We are here. We are live. It is happening. And today, I thought we're going to do something different. We're going to do a Premier League show, a Premier League Roundup show, because, well, we don't do those. And I thought, why not try something different? Let's just put it that way. And today, to be honest, what a week to try it for the first time. Let's just put it that way, because Chelsea have stunned Liverpool by beating them 2-1, which also obviously has helped Arsenal to go on the top of the Premier League table, which is quite fantastic if you're an Arsenal fan, because after last time we went international break after losing to Liverpool, it was quite dark, and it was dark and gloomy. Let's just put it that way. But right now, big difference 1 month can make. Let's just put it that way. We are on top of the table, and it is phenomenal to see, to say the least. And to be honest, we are on top of the table by 1 point. Obviously, it doesn't seem too much, but at the same time, we have very close followers in City, in Bournemouth, Spurs, of course, Liverpool, and everything. But being on top of the table at this stage, it's something you really desire, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. After all these processes, phases, and stuff like that, being on the top of the table is something we deserve. Let's just put it that way. Let's just hope that by the game week 38, we are still on top of the table and we are lifting that Premier League trophy. But yeah, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about the Premier League in general. And yeah, so if you have any thoughts, leave them down the live chat. Like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new around here. And of course, as I said, don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the live chat down below. But yeah, people, hope you're having a great Sunday. Hope everyone's feeling great. Everyone's feeling fantastically well. It has been a wild one, to say the least. Big up, Andrew. Yeah, Sevilla beat Barcelona 4-1. Nobody expected it. Got a red card and everything. It was quite insane to say, to be honest. Yamal is injured. Rashford scored. It was 2-1 at halftime. It looked like maybe Liverpool could get something from it. But at the end of the day, yeah, they didn't get anything from it, which is actually quite insane to see, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, like, that definitely puts pattern in works in terms of Barcelona. Big up Mubarak. Big up Mubarak. Hope you're doing well. Why we want to know about situation Odegaard, who knows? He has a cast on his leg, or whatever, however it's called, and well, the scans are going to determine everything. He has been pulled from Norway national team, which is a massive one. It definitely doesn't indicate anything good. Let's just put it that way. I expect Odegaard to be out at least 2 months, something like that, given the situation. Maybe it's just a precaution, but the fact that he got subbed off and it didn't look great, he has a cast on his leg, definitely it's a big worry no matter how you look at it. Big up, William. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Big up. I'm not going to jump to gravy train and say that we're going to win the league after beating a team that's sitting at the bottom of the table. Same. Like, there is nothing to say about that. At the same time, being on top of the table, it is quite fantastic. Let's be real. No matter you like it or not, you want to admit it or not, being on top of the table, to some extent, no matter what points are you on, no matter what situation are you in, it is quite fantastic and quite amazing to see, to say the least. Let's just say it as it is, people. And yeah, William is supposed to be on Tuesday in the winger. Big up Gunner for life. Big up for Gunner for life. Hope you're doing well as well. I'm good. I'm sorry. I was a bit late. Had to help my little one with homework, so that it is what it is in those terms. Big up Hendon. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. I like how with 3 strikers in FPL having 2 points each, I was still being able to get 94 points. Same, like I got 93 points. It was actually quite phenomenal, to be honest. I was very shocked, to be honest, when I checked it after these game weeks. Need a left winger and replacement for Odegaard. He's too injury prone. Like, Odegaard is very unlucky. Let's just say it as it is. Odegaard is a bit unlucky in terms of 7 games into the season. And he has been injured for quite a while. Like, he has been injured 3 times already. Definitely not a good sign. Odegaard out for at least 3 months with the medial ligament injury. I think it was an MCL. I told you he'd be injured on Saturday. any time space like he did like against Olympiacos. Yeah, West Ham bullied him. One unlucky tackle going that way, and Odegaard is done. Yeah, it is like that. Big up Q. Big up Q. Coming here from Rasta's channel. Big up Rasta every single time. Big up Rasta Stocks United fan every single goddamn time. If you haven't already, people, go subscribe to Rasta Stocks. And big up Q for being here. Much appreciate that. Much appreciate that. Man City only 3 points behind. Yes, Man City are. Now, the big question is how long Rodri is going to be out for, because he got subbed off as well. Due to injury. Then Nico came on, so it will be interesting to see. Feel sorry for Odegaard, all things considered. Definitely, yeah. Definitely. I never like to see anyone get injured, whether I like the player or not, whether I want him out of the club or not, whether I think he can achieve something at Arsenal or not. And the fact that he's being injured, that it is not a nice thing. Like wishing him a speedy recovery. Did you triple captain anyone to get 94 points? No, I didn't triple captain anyone. I haven't used that triple captain situation at all. What did I do for today? I vice captained Semenyo and I captained Haaland. So they go together 34 points. Grealish got me 10 points. Timber got me 11. So slowly I got also Justin Kluivert in the team. So slowly but steadily I racked up the points. Pedro Porro got me 7. Nick Pope got me 7. Voltemade got 6. I hope he would score. But yeah, Voltemade got me 6 points. Like it slowly but steadily accumulated up to the 93 points. And I'm actually quite shocked I did so well. I'm not gonna lie. Odegaard is too lightweight for Premier League. Yes. In my opinion, he definitely is. Odegaard is flat tackle bully. Give him time and space, and he looks good. Exactly. As long as you give Odegaard time and space, he's good. He's great, to be honest. But as soon as you put him in high press situations where he has no time to lift his head, he needs to do quick 1, 2, 3 passes. He just disappears instantly. He gets bullied off the ball. He's too weak to do the shoulder-to-shoulder type of physical battles, and that obviously is going against him in all the ways, shapes, and forms, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, people, let's look at the Premier League at the moment. Obviously, the games started off with Bournemouth versus Fulham. The game started. It was a very interesting one, to be honest, because it was 0-0 at halftime. Fulham scored first in the second half, and then Semenyo and everyone just unleashed their inner beast and made it 3-1. And Bournemouth has had a very, very good start the season. They are in top 4, and it's looking like they could be set for something great. Now, obviously, it's only 6 games in, so we cannot judge, but definitely Bournemouth is a force to be reckoned with. And more on top of that, I'm gonna be honest with you, like Semenyo, Justin Kluivert, those two alone, definitely those 2 players, more specifically in Semenyo, I would take at Arsenal without shadow of a doubt. Definitely would take it at Arsenal without shadow of a doubt, like no questions asked, to be honest. Leeds lost at Ellen Road to Spurs. It was another shaky performance by Spurs. They went. It was 1-0. They were like Leeds should have scored more than just 1 goal. But Spurs scored first. Leeds equalized. They had a few chances to make it 2-3-1, to be honest, in favor for them. But they didn't. They actually didn't. And at the end of the day, Spurs managed to nick a goal and get it over the line. Man United versus Sunderland. Man United finally got a win, which is actually quite interesting to see. Let's see if Man United can muster 5 wins in a row, because United have, again, very tough schedule coming on. And the guy who is growing out his hair until United win 5 games in a row, it's not looking good for him, is it? Definitely not looking good for that guy, because he definitely is in a bit of a pickle in those terms. Definitely in a bit of a pickle in those terms, without shadow of a doubt saying. But United racked up 3 points in the board, which is actually very good for them. Props to United as well. Sunderland have been quite interesting this season. They have been on a very hot streak. Let's just put it that way. Before this game week finished, they were top 4. Obviously, they have dropped down a bit, but overall, they definitely, if they manage to keep things rolling as they are right now, to a certain extent, right? I think they're the biggest favorites of all the promoted sides to stay up, without shadow of a doubt. If they manage to do things properly and they manage to actually resolve their issues. Speaking of United, great for them to get a win. Still not looking great, without shadow of a doubt. Sesko scored, which is great for them as well. But overall, yeah, United, the biggest issue with United, whether you like it or not, is Amorim. in my opinion at least, because he should be changing, he should be adjusting, he should be adapting, but he has come out and said very confidently that he is not going to change. And overall, long term, it's doing United more harm than good. Obviously, they have lots of issues with players, with the ownership, with everything that's happening besides that, but the most immediate one still is the Amorim for me personally. Amorim should be going. The other question is who would come in, because based on the current United situation, even if I was a coach, a manager, right, in a football, I would not go there unless it would be for a nice payday. Besides that, I actually would not go there, which is also mind-boggling that once Amorim actually leaves, he gets sacked or whatever, who is going to take his place? Because I have seen Southgate's name being thrown around, Glasner's name being thrown around, some other names here or there being thrown around. And overall, yeah, it's not looking great in those terms for United. They need to resolve quite a bit. Like Ragnick said years ago, United need a full open heart surgery, right? And that is the case. United need to change everything from top to bottom. And until they do, they might be set up for big issues, in my opinion, definitely. Arsenal versus West Ham, obviously my team. Arsenal, well, it is what it is. 3 points on the board. Another rough performance, to say the least. Arsenal got the job done. West Ham under Nuno definitely set up very defensively. They didn't do anything, to be honest, throughout the whole game. Yeah, Odegaard got injured, which is one of the biggest talking points at the moment. Of course, it looks like he could be out for quite extended period of time with an MCL, I think it was. So time only will tell. But yeah, Odegaard also, as a human, it's very hard to. I feel very sorry for Odegaard. Like it's 6 games in. The season in general is only 9 games in. 2 in Premier League, 1 in Carabao Cup, 6 in Premier League, and he has had 3 injuries already. Against Leeds, against Forest, and now against West Ham. And now that he actually might be out till the end of the year, potentially, even, if not longer. So it's a very, very sad feeling in those terms. Do I want Odegaard out of the club? Yes, I do. But I'm not such a prick that wants players to get injured as long as they get out of the club and all this stuff. Personally, for me, yeah, I feel sorry for Odegaard because he's not a bad player. I don't think he's Arsenal material, Arsenal captain material per se, but as a footballing person, as a person in general, as a human, I cannot help but feel sorry because it's like being injured on a job and you cannot work. It's the same as being sick consistently. And if I was sick consistently at my job, I would get fired. Obviously, with footballers, it's a bit different story, but you never want to see anyone get injured. Even as a rival, right? If Heung-min Son got injured for Spurs, as a football fan, I'm very sorry for Son. Same goes for Liverpool players that get injured, for any player that gets injured. I'm just being a football fan in general. It's very painful to see players that are, especially that are very high caliber and you love to watch, get injured on consistent basis. Definitely. Chelsea, obviously, Chelsea pulled off a shock of the game week, beating Liverpool 2-1. Liverpool are struggling quite heavily. I've seen some Liverpool fans as well talking about Slot out already. It will be very interesting to see if he can turn things around because Liverpool are struggling quite heavily at the moment, which is very, 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 very unfortunate situation. After winning the league, they have had like a massive struggles. Obviously, they have lost Robertson needed to be replaced. They signed Kerkez. They have signed Frimpong to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously. They have signed Wirtz, who is just doing 008 sittings at the moment. And I think people just underestimated in general how much big of an influence Trent had at the club in terms of gameplay, game style, how they create and how they do things, personally for me. And yeah, I think it's definitely now a big issue because Frimpong is nowhere close being Trent. They need to shift their whole system and style, and they are struggling with that quite heavily. And if they don't, and if Slot doesn't manage to resolve the situation quite quickly, they could be in the massive issues. Massive issues. What else happened? Everton beat Crystal Palace. Good for them. To be honest. Everton under Moyes is doing some fantastic job, especially at the new stadium now as well. Crystal Palace lost their 19-game unbeaten streak. even though they went first 1-0 up. It will be interesting to see how they bounce back from that, because Arsenal face Crystal Palace very, very soon after international break. Time only will tell about that one. Newcastle keeps struggling. Yes, Newcastle won against Nottingham Forest, but their creativity is lacking heavily. You can see that losing Isak is damaging them. Obviously, Visa being out for extended period of time till November or a bit longer even is not helping them. They're struggling. Even they are still racking up points, which is good for them, but they have had also a very rough start of the season. So we'll see how Eddie Howe manages to resolve these situations, because Voltemade as well needs to start fire, because given the amount of money they have spent on Voltemade alone, he should be bagging some goals. Obviously, Nottingham Forest against them, the defenders felt like fish in the water, in my opinion, genuinely, because like 3 6'4" type of defenders, 6'3" against Voltemade, they were picking off the crosses left, right, and center. They looked very comfortable in the first half. Yes, Newcastle changed a bit in the second half. Obviously, it got them 3 points, but overall, again, they are struggling. Wolves managed to nick a point against Brighton, which is great for them, to be honest. Wolves are one of the prime candidates currently to being relegated. Brighton as well, hit and miss at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. Villa are starting to score, which is also very, 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 very interesting, because Aston Villa starting to score goals, no matter how you look at it, that was their biggest issue. Aston Villa's issue was that they couldn't score to save their lives. And in the recent few games, they have scored a few goals, and they are slowly climbing up the table. They're on 9 points right now. Obviously, they have a few injuries, but they are literally 2 wins, let's just say, away from being in top 4. So they haven't lost much by losing in the first games. So they haven't lost much. The question is, will Villa bounce on from that? Will Villa actually improve from going forwards? Because it's very hard for them to get much worse, to be honest. So definitely, I think Emery has something up the sleeve. And obviously, Man City beat Brentford 1-0. Rough performance. They could have been up by more. They could have also been down. Biggest talking point, of course, about this about the City game is the fact that Rodri got injured again, and Nico Gonzalez came on. It will be very interesting to see how City fare again without Rodri, because that was one of the biggest talking points last year. And for me as well, the fact that with Rodri and without Rodri, Man City are 2 different teams. 2 different teams. And now that the Rodri potentially could be out again for some time, definitely could do them some massive damage. Definitely could be a very big issue for them long term. So let's see what you're saying in the chat. If you have any thoughts regarding Premier League, your own club, we can definitely discuss this. Definitely we can discuss this and go from there. Well, we could cook it. We could look at it small grace, since Eze will have to play number 10 role, because we'll be falling short. And heck, I actually can see the Donkey playing in midfield when he gets back. Like, I can trust me, the Donkey could play up top, because if Gyökeres keeps firing blanks on gamely basis, it could be a big issue. Havertz will go up top. And obviously, the left wing situation is still a big issue for Arsenal, no matter how you look at it. Arsenal fans should thank us for what we did against Liverpool, so that Arsenal are on top of the table. Yeah, big up to you, Pawan Gaming. Big up to you, Chelsea. Big up to everyone. Yes, Chelsea are on a bit of a rise. Obviously, they have a bit of bounce in their step. It was a very entertaining game, I'm not going to lie. No, but that's what you get with Chelsea. Chelsea's biggest issue for me still is the consistency, because you have also quite a few injuries. You have defenders injured galore, to be honest, and you still manage to get a result. If you manage to finish in top 4 at the end of the season, and if you manage to nick like a cup or something again like you did last year, definitely would be a very good season for you all. You are not there yet to challenge for the league, but if you keep this up, if you sign the right players, which is a very big hit and miss with Bowley and Clearlake, you could definitely be up there. We play Bayern on the 28th of November. We'll see how good we really are against better opposition. True. We play Atletico Madrid, we play Bayern Munich, and all these teams. It will be very interesting to see how we fare against bigger teams. More specifically against more grind teams that are like Bayern Munich. Against Atletico Madrid. And definitely against teams that are more expansive in the attack, and that definitely can smother you, like Bayern Munich. It definitely will show what Arsenal are made of. Big up PW. Big up. Thank you for me for making us favoring in football, like we were pursuing the league like that. Look at the table; it's still tight, but you're right. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Big up everyone. Look, like, calm down. I don't feel sorry for Odegaard. He's well paid, overpaid. He's just not good enough at this level. It's nothing personal. It's just business. I'm not gonna get into that. People are thinking what they are thinking. People are feeling what they are feeling. As personally, for me, I feel sorry for anyone. Like in those terms, like when players get injured, I feel sorry for any person because it's their job. Yes, they still get paid. At the same time, it's still their job, and yeah, in those terms. Man, we have so many injuries. It's tough for us to push for the league. Like, fact, Chelsea fan can accept that they didn't. Didn't we help you? You helped us definitely, especially after Arsenal lost to them at Anfield. You definitely helped us big time. You definitely helped us. I'm not negative. We have so much injury, especially in defense. So yeah, you're not negative. Definitely, it's a fact. It's a fact. You have so many injuries, especially defensively. It's actually miraculous that you actually managed to play some proper football. Yes, you are very inconsistent. Yes, it's gonna cost you over the course of the season. But in general, you are in a good spot going forwards, no matter how you look at it. To be fair, Frimpong and Kirkes don't look right. It's just my opinion. I've never seen those two signings like mountain movers for Liverpool. Gehi would be class, but both of them ain't it. And that is the case for me as well. That's how I have seen it, and I have viewed it as well, to be honest, in terms of Kirkes and Frimpong. More specifically, Frimpong, because I definitely believe people quite heavily underestimated, in my opinion, the role that Trent Alexander brought to Liverpool. Because as soon as Trent wanted out, everyone would say, "Go away! You're awful person," and all this stuff. You're only chasing clout and money and all these things, right? At the same time, like, come on, people definitely overlook the fact how influential he was for Liverpool. And I think if Trent stayed, Liverpool would be much more dangerous in general, because with Wirtz's issues in creating and in their attack, despite the fact that they still create quite a bit of chances, they still struggle quite a lot. And having that player like Trent who can create from deep definitely would have been them more helpful than anything, because Frimpong cannot do that. Kirkes cannot do that. They are more of a wingers, wing backs more than anything. And unless Slot changes his system and style, there could be issues over the course of the season, again, in specific games, 100%. Big up my boss. Big up my boss. Hope you're doing well. Liverpool fans would not agree, but they're missing Trent. They are. Personally, for me, they are missing Trent. Yes, and I'm an Arsenal fan saying this from outside looking in. And I'm saying that as about Liverpool, as they are the main rival for my club for winning the league. And I'm saying that they would be in better place with Trent being there still. They're bad from building them back, so Trent was crucial. Exactly. Trent was very pivotal in terms of how Liverpool have played over the course of last few seasons, especially last year under Slot when they won the league. And they are overlooking, and they have taken maybe the Trent for a bit too much for granted. Yes, he was a liability defensively, no questions about that. But going forwards, he outweighed the flaws defensively tenfold to some extent. Because some long diagonals, long passes he created, and the crosses he mounted to up them for them to score and chances created, they haven't replaced that whatsoever. They thought that Wirtz would be the one. But Wirtz, let's be real, like 6 games into the season, he has done fuck all for Liverpool in Premier League. And that for them is a big issue. They need to resolve that as well. I'm still hyped over last night's fights. I have just no idea. I know there was UFC and stuff like that, but don't pay attention to it whatsoever. Yeah, people, like and subscribe if you haven't already, people. Like and subscribe. Yeah, you are very inconsistent. Obviously, it's due to, style, how you play, due to Maresca, due to injuries and everything. It obviously accumulates together as one. But definitely, I think once you find your footing, once you find you need to replace specific players, specific positions in the team with specific signings to be more consistent. But it will sound very weird, but I also believe that Maresca will be the guy that gets you up to top 4, but you will need a proper manager to get you over the line. Similarly, like Arteta for us, Brendan Rodgers for Liverpool and stuff like that, Maresca, I think, won't be it. Even though he has proven that he can win Club World Cup, he can win Conference League. But I think for Premier League, I generally believe he is not cut out for it, in my opinion. It's too early for anyone to get hyped. Still a long way to go. Exactly. Yeah, he'll put Havertz up top. Gyökeres will be on the bench. Yeah, that is one. That could be the case very soon if Gyökeres keeps firing blanks. League is looking close and tight. Maybe this is season that will give more competition, relegation, and such. Hopefully, because I'm kind of sick and tired. Let's just say that relegation battle 90% is over by game week 30. The title race, if there was no Arsenal that pushes City, right, and everything, it's very boring league. Like, there are two teams that are going for the league, and rest of it, like, literally top 4 race in general for the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th, if the coefficients in UEFA and everything allow it for FIFA and stuff like that, is actually more entertaining than the title race and that the relegation race, which for me should not be the case. But hey, I cannot judge, to be honest. It is what it is. I also don't know how that chat message got duplicated. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. Big up, Jackie. Big up, Jackie. Big up, Jackie. Thank you for your support. Your likes mean a lot, to be honest. It helps the stream to be shared around. It sends it to more people in recommended sections and everything. So big up, people. If you haven't already, smash the likes and subscribe as well. Let's be real about Odegaard. He hasn't been playing well for a long time. Yeah, that is the case. Odegaard has not been playing well for like 1.5 years, almost 2 years. At the same time, ironically enough, coming off the bench, he's been more influential than starting, despite the fact that he's the captain, one of the highest paid players, which is also weird to look at and even see. But yeah, Odegaard, he's a good option in general, but he's a good option for us in cups, in Champions League, you could argue, but definitely not Premier League. He's not cut out for Premier League, personally. But he's still an asset to be used, exactly. Now he's becoming Tomiyasu Jesus from out of nowhere after like playing ish for a season. Big up Fusion is not jazz. Hope you're doing well today. Fair enough, but I wanted him to be dropped for his poor performances. Now I think the team will play better. We'll see. Obviously, he was out for a bit, and Arsenal looked a bit bare. We'll see what happens afterwards. I feel sorry for Odegaard. He suffered from a lot of recent injuries. He's very professional, captain of his own country as well. Good luck for him with his recovery, definitely. You never want to see anyone get injured, I'm not going to lie. I get it. I felt the same. He shouldn't have been benched for a dozen games, both of them performance and the recovery, but he's still over Ethan. Yeah. Last 3, big up ST, by the way. Big up ST. Last 3 games, Odegaard has played well. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Odegaard has played well in the last 3 games. And if you look at those games, he has come off the bench in 2 of those, and in one of them, he was against Olympiacos in Champions League, where the game is more open, where the game he has more time to lift the head past the ball, where he is more comfortable on the ball. He doesn't have to instantly rush. He is not. It feels like he has a congestion in his brain when he gets high press. He doesn't know what to do with the ball. He panics a bit. His composure is down in dumps. So against Olympiacos, he could utilize that because the through balls he was sending to Gyökeres like 3-4 times were fantastic. It was phenomenal, to be honest. And Odegaard of the bench has been more influential than starting. So it's a weird one, but Odegaard in general has been very good in the last 3 games, definitely. Without shadow of a doubt. For me, in Olympiacos game, he was man of the match. In the Champions League game, he was man of the match without shadow of a doubt. Hopefully, Ethan will get some minutes now. That is the hope. But to be honest, when Odegaard was out before, Ethan didn't get that many minutes. Ethan came on for Odegaard when he got injured against Leeds, when he got injured against Nottingham Forest, which was nice to see. But in general, he doesn't get that many minutes despite that. For me personally, also in the West Ham game, when Odegaard got injured, we should have subbed on Ethan Nwaneri, not Zubimendi. Like, that could be the case. Eze in the 8, Rice in the 6, and Nwaneri in the 10. I think that would have worked also very, very well. Definitely very, very well. But hey, we subbed on Zubimendi. We still got the 3 points, so it is what it is. Tactical intelligence and positional awareness comes naturally to Odegaard. I just wish he could stay fit. For me, I can see what you mean by that. At the same time, with me, for Odegaard, the biggest issue is the playmaking aspect. He holds on for the ball too much. He tends to take too many touches. He doesn't release it quick enough. He plays the safe ball 9 times out of 10, even 10 times out of 10 sometimes. He passes to the left, right, and backwards. Too much recycling of the ball. Obviously, it comes with territory of Mikel Arteta's style, with his tactics, how he wants his team to play. But at some point, you also have to take some risks, like he did against Olympiacos. But most of the teams we play against don't give us that space. Hence why Odegaard also looks worse than he actually is. We have seen how good Odegaard can be. We have seen how good Martinelli can be in 22-23 season. But since then, since Mikel Arteta changed the tactics, you could argue that the performances in general have nosedived straight into the ground. They have plummeted heavily. And I think that is one of the biggest issues in general, that Mikel Arteta, with his style and tactics, has definitely stifled this team, no matter how you look at it. And that is, for me, the biggest worry at the moment. Hence why Odegaard is looking worse than he actually is. Martinelli as well is looking worse than he is. So we'll see. Ethan won't get more minutes. 100% it will be Rice, Eze, and either Merino or Zubimendi on a regular basis. Yes, I think so too. Left wing is going to be Trossard, Martinelli. And midfield most likely is going to be Eze, Rice, Zubimendi. Zubimendi, Merino, Eze. Zubimendi, Merino. Rice, Merino, and Eze. I think definitely that will be the case. I think it will be Rice, Zubimendi, and Merino. Oh, yeah, I'd prefer. I want Eze in the 10. I want Eze in the 10 without shadow of a doubt. Still early to call out, but Zubimendi is still a shadow comparing to. Oh, that goes without saying. Even he is a bit of an improvement on Jorginho. I will argue that, but in terms of party, he's nowhere near, in my opinion, at the moment. I wish Arteta found a way to switch him Rice in positions, putting Zubimendi box to box and Rice in the 6. I get that, but at the same time, with Zubimendi, he is not going to work as box to box. He doesn't have, in my opinion, the lung capacity what Declan Rice has. And he doesn't have the abilities to bomb up and down the field for like 80 minutes, 70, 80 minutes. He doesn't have the pace to do so as well. And physically, he's also not as resilient, as strong as Declan Rice is. So for me personally, Zubimendi in that role is not going to work as well. For me, in an ideal scenario, we actually would have signed a proper number 8, but that's the different story. That's a bit different discussion, of course. Like Fabian Ruiz, like someone like that. At the same time, Rice in the 6, maybe Troyes in the 8, something like that. We could be potentially seeing Havertz in the 8. When push comes to shove, when Havertz comes back from his injury. We also could be seeing that. Havertz at striker or Havertz in the 8. We could see both of those. That is also a thing we need to keep in mind. And let's be real, Havertz in the 8, that has gone well over the years. In my opinion, Declan Rice would make a better captain than Odegaard and Saka. Oh, without shadow of a doubt. Declan Rice would make better captain than Odegaard or Saka. And Gabriel would make a better captain than Saka, Rice, or Odegaard. For me, that is the case. For me, Saka, for me, should not be wearing captain's armband. Yes, he is the poster child of this club. He is the golden boy and all this stuff. But he is not captain material. He is not, in my opinion. He's not well respected enough in the refereeing society, and everything to be actually a captain as well. Zubimendi actually did well coming on as substitute when the game is stretched. He also isn't strong enough for the Prem. Yeah, and that is the thing. For Premier League, you either need to be physically strong or you need to be hella technical. Like David Silva, for example. He was small. He wasn't the strongest, but he was technically so gifted there was no tomorrow. Just like Rosicki, Santi Cazorla, and players like that. You either have to be something like that or you have to be Conte, you have to be Thomas Partey and stuff like that. You are either or. Because the blend of the two, it's very rare find in general, and they tend to work mostly like that. It's either or, in my opinion. In my opinion, box to box doesn't really need a lung capacity as long as he is driving past. Also, you don't need to run after every ball being Wharton. Yeah, but you've seen how Mikel Arteta plays. You need to run. You've seen how much ground Declan Rice covers during games. So, in my opinion, that would not work. For me, Big Gabby should be the captain. Same. For me as well, Gabriel Magalhaes, Big Gabby, the center back, Gabriel, should be the captain of Arsenal in general. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't think the captaincy is going to change until Odegaard leaves or something like that. But yeah, I definitely believe we need someone else as a captain. That's not going to happen, obviously. Since Tony Adams called it all out. Then Arteta said it was almost a unanimous vote and everything. Like, it's never going to happen. I'm just very curious what these players see in Odegaard of what we don't see. That for me is the biggest question. Because leading the press, you can do it without armband, without shadow of a doubt. You can have your tasks separate. Like captain is Gabriel, Odegaard is leading the press from the front. What else Odegaard does as a captain to do it, to do it, like in those terms? I agree, Gabriel Magalhaes should be the captain, exactly. Captain it's not just an armband. All the players have their role. Odegaard is a good choice for captaincy, respected by all players. If you're not respected by all players, you are not a player for that club specifically. And to say that captain is just an armband is one of the wildest and, with all due respect, dumbest takes I have heard. Because captain is the guy who leads the team, not the press alone. Team by example. He leads the team when team is losing. He should be the player who carries the team, who steps up when it's needed the most, who picks up the team when something is not going their way, who has no issues with grabbing the player by the scruff of its neck and say, you have screwed up. You shape up right now, because this is not the game to be goofing off. For example, what Declan Rice did to Thomas Partey when he got that stupid yellow against Real Madrid, for example. Because I don't see Odegaard doing none of that. I see Declan Rice yelling at players more and calling them out. I see Gabriel Magalhaes yelling and calling players out more. For me personally, a captain should be a player who can oversee all the pitch. Personally, it might be a bit old school, but for me, a captain should be a defender. Or maybe a holding six, like Patrick Vieira or Roy Keane. Or it should be a defender, like Rio Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, Puyol, Ramos, players like that, Maldini, of course, Baresi, and all them, man, right? Bonucci, Chiellini, and everyone, right? Because for me, captain should be able to oversee the whole pitch. What is happening, what is developing, and what instructions to give certain players so we don't get into some sort of a mess. Odegaard leading from the front line doesn't see what's happening behind his back whatsoever, because he's just running like a buzzard, just pressing goalkeeper, striker, right back, left back, center back, and everything. So for me, it's for me, that is the case. Big up, Beggy. Hope you're having well. Hope you're doing well, and thank you for coming by and dropping a like and everything. Big up. Exactly, big up. Captain is not just, it's not just an armband. Definitely not. I have been a captain of a team. It's not just an armband. You pretty much are first in charge as soon as manager leaves, for example. You need to be the one. Yes, I was thinking a better role would be a Bernardo Silva role all over the pitch, proper passing, a decent level of pitch IQ, and he might fit the role. Maybe. If that case, yeah, then again, my football IQ is just was under 45. I don't think you need to shout and be loud as a captain. A captain also has to be calm and lead by his behavior on and off the pitch. I get it. Exactly, but Odegaard does none of those things, at least on the pitch. Whenever there are issues on the pitch, he just hides. Usually when someone goes to argue with the referee, which is obviously against the rules and everything, it's usually Declan Rice or Gabriel or someone else. It's almost never Odegaard unless it's against him specifically. When a scrap between two players starts to burst out on the pitch, it's never Odegaard who is there to stop it. You need someone who does that. And that should be your captain. Captain should be the Mr. Reliable you can rely on, who will lead you, who will basically do things you are not willing to do. And Odegaard doesn't strike me at all like that. Then I was lucky enough spending Chalco with Tony Adams as a captain. Exactly. Same. When you see players like Tony Adams and Vieira, you know the qualities captain should have. Exactly. Not to mention the other ones, as I said, Roy Keane's, Puyols. Who else was there? Valdez, Abidal, Bonucci, Chiellini, Totti, Baresi, Barzagli. Who else? Obviously Van Dijk, also one of them ones. You can include in that equation Cannavaro, Desailly, There are loads of those, to be honest, if you go through all of that. I agree with that. Arteta want his midfielders to be defenders as well, and Mendy is not cut out for that. True. It depends on the captain too. We don't really have a proper captain material. Exactly, Rice is the best English-wise, and he has good reputation. Exactly, Gabi has a language barrier, but how? Like for me, this is also a very dumb argument saying that Gabriel has a language barrier. He's been here for what? 4 years now. He's been here for 4 years, so there should not be a language barrier. The only argument I can see is the fact that Declan Rice has been captain for West Ham for how many years? He has won a trophy as a captain of West Ham. He knows how to get it over the line. He has led that team over the line as a captain. So that for me is then. Our last best captain was probably Santi, but he like Bruno Fernandes for Man U showed by result. Yeah. A captain has multiple responsibilities. For me, his main job is lead by example. Yeah. Odegaard is too weak to be a captain. Yeah, I can see that as well. Arteta already showed he can't manage strikers and barely manages midfielders unless they do the possession dirty work. Yeah. You also have great some goalkeepers as captains over the years. Yeah, definitely. Buffon, Casillas, obviously as I mentioned, Victor Valdez as well. There have been Samir Handanovic as well, I think, was for Inter Milan. There were some, definitely. Per Cech was as well, I think, at some point. I think it was for Chelsea at the time, not for Arsenal, but maybe for Arsenal as well. Like, there have been goalkeepers as captains as well. Odegaard is captain for his national team, yeah. That he is. Why is Odegaard captain of Norway? The manager of Norway must think he must possess the right qualities. Yes, maybe he does. But from what I have spoken to some Norwegian people, and I have seen their comments, they don't think he is it as well. They don't think he is it as well. Not, like there are Norwegian fans who rate Odegaard, but there are so many more Norwegian fans, from what I have talked to at least, that don't rate Odegaard at all as a captain, personally. For Norway, and also he might be the captain of Norway, but that also doesn't mean he should be captain of Arsenal in those terms as well. For Norway, you could argue he is the main guy. For Norway, obviously they have Haaland, they have Sorloth, Nusa, and all these men. But being a captain for Norway and being captain for Arsenal are two different things. Because you can be the captain of your national team, but that doesn't mean you should be the captain of your club where you play. I recall Tony Adams saying to Bergkamp when Dennis was in a bit of a slump when he first came to Arsenal, isn't it about time you start to front? Can you imagine? No, never. To be honest, never. At Norway, he do put up numbers. To some extent, yes. To some extent. There are times that he puts up numbers, but there are many times as well when Odegaard does nothing for Norway. And when he comes off or he just doesn't get involved into a game as much, the team scores. One of the prime examples was last year, Kazakhstan, when he rolled his ankle. It was like the 60th or something minute that they couldn't do anything. Norway didn't do anything against Kazakhstan. Odegaard came off. Somebody came on, and they instantly scored 3 goals. Like, it goes both ways. It goes both ways, the hits and miss. Something different about this year, I feel like gonna win the title. Dude, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. We're only 6 games in. Don't jump to the conclusions. Literally, don't jump to the conclusions. It's way too early for this talk for me personally. Only 6 games in. We're only 6 games into the season. 7 games into the season. 7 games into the season. 7 games. 31 games to go. Don't just jump. Yeah, so Zinchenko, he's lately played left back in the national team, but he's suffering for Nottingham Forest. Oh, yeah, definitely. He is suffering for Nottingham Forest. He has been one of the reasons why Nottingham Forest have conceded a few goals as well. And but Zinchenko mostly for Ukraine also plays midfield. He plays that number 8, number 10 spot. To be honest, mostly the left back is Mykolenko as well for them, who plays for Everton. And there is somebody else who plays left back. Zinchenko predominantly tends to be a midfielder as well for Ukraine. He's more natural position, let's be real. We are going to win the league. Yeah. I didn't specify when, dude. I can win the league right now just going on EAFC. I can win the league there instantly. Like, let's just put it that way. Hope the rest of the live would great. I got to go. Big up to you. Thank you so much and big up to you. Have a nice evening and have a nice start of the week as well tomorrow. Big up to you. I think City is the biggest challenge. Yeah, I can see that. For me now, the biggest asterisk regarding City is what's going to happen with Rodri, because Rodri came off today injured. How long is he going to be out for? That for me is another big mystery, because we saw what happened with City last year when Rodri came out. Obviously, people say it takes about a year or so to adjust to Pep's tactics. So maybe Nico Gonzalez, now to being his replacement, actually will work very well together with Reinders. Obviously, we don't know that at the moment. But Rodri being injured, him being subbed off, and him being out for some time as well will pretty much show what is what with Man City, because City have been struggling a bit. Well, quite a bit. We saw against Monaco how it was, how their season has started, even with Rodri, to be honest. So definitely it's going to be a very, very, very interesting. Still, for me, the worst captain that Arsenal have ever had was Gallas. Oh, the crybaby. I can see that. I definitely can see that. I definitely can see the argument. Do you think Joker is? No, he's not. I don't think so. Definitely don't think so. Yes, he hasn't scored a lot. 3 goals in 7 games. He has had chances to score. He has missed them. But at the same time, he hasn't had enough service. The team is not playing to his strengths. We are playing as if he's like Voltemade up top, just crossing the ball as well. The teams also don't give us gaps to play Gyökeres into, which is his, well, basically bread and butter. When they give him chances to run into and everything, we saw what happened against Nottingham Forest when he took on the defenders from the left side and absolutely destroyed them and scored. So there's that. Plus, on top of that, why you're calling him a flop already? Why are you asking this? Because Mikel Arteta said Havertz needs 55 games to be judged. So why are we not keeping the same energy for Gyökeres? 55 games, 1 season. We'll see. We'll see. We'll closer to December who is who and who. Yeah, we will see closer to the December who is who and who is where. Nothing concrete, and the Fulham game is just the fuel in the fireplace. Yeah, that is the case. We have very how to say? We have a tough schedule coming up. And I don't mean specifically regarding Premier League, but more I mean in general, because yes, we have some winnable games in Premier League in terms of like Sunderland's, Burnley's, you could argue Crystal Palace, Fulham, all those games should be wins. But in between, we will have to play teams like, obviously, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, teams like that. Brighton also is not going to be an easy game in Carabao Cup. So I think that is also going to show what is what. But come Boxing Day, end of the year, I think we will show where Arsenal stand in all of this title race, where other teams stand in this title race, and how big of a chance potentially Arsenal and other teams have at winning anything. But so far, with 7 games in, with how close that one win can take you from the first to basically like 7th, it's anyone's game. And it's very, very too early to judge, in my opinion. Very too early to judge at the moment. I just seen it online about Gyökeres. We play bear with him. We play bear with him. We'll see. We'll see, because there are many people already saying, well, as soon as Havertz comes back, bench Gyökeres. There are many Arsenal fans saying that. We will look better with Havertz up top. The nuts part is, I kind of can see why. This is the biggest issue for me personally. I kind of can see why Arsenal would look better with Havertz up top than with Gyökeres. Bear with me here. Just bear with me here as I'm saying this. The thing is, one of the biggest things that Mikel Arteta wants to play, how he wants to play, is build-up. With his number 9 being involved in the creative part of the attack, which is very obvious that Gyökeres is not good at. His passing is lacking heavily. His key passing is just the less said and better. Havertz's passing, it's not great, but it's much better than Gyökeres's. Hence why I can see the argument being made. Then again, yes, Havertz can help creating, right? But he cannot finish. Gyökeres at least can finish. So basically, in Mikel Arteta's system, you have to sacrifice one for the other, which is a big issue because Arteta needs to find balance ASAP in terms of creating and in terms of scoring. Because if Gyökeres starts, he's going to bag you goals if you create enough for him. If Havertz starts, He's going to help you create. But you're going to lack finishing ability up top because Havertz is going to be in that spot. And we have seen it over the years how bad it is. So it's either or. You either win some or you lose some. And the thing, Arsenal need to find balance regarding that quite heavily and quite quickly, in my opinion. And that is more on Arteta than anyone else in this regard. Will it change? Will it improve? And will that happen? I don't know, obviously. But the fact that Gyökeres has 3 goals in 7 games in Premier League, it's not great. I'm not going to lie. It's not great. But I trust that we will find something going on there. Gyökeres is a flop if you want him to be. Exactly. He's not the striker for Arteta's system. He's rough. He's sloppy sometimes. Yeah. If he is up there and we create spaces for him with wingers, with 10, with the 8 pushing forward, maybe with the overlaps, Gyökeres is phenomenal because if we open gap for him to run into, if we give an open space for him to take a touch and score, it's fantastic, right? But how Arteta wants to play, he is not fitting in. Arteta needs to literally reshape his whole attack. The style, the system, the vision, the build-up, how he wants to play if he wants Gyökeres to work. And we all know that he, big up to Rich99 for always saying this, stubborn, smug prick, he is not going to change. That is the biggest issue. But if you're clearly considering the 5-meter Havertz is better than a traditional strikers, Mateta, Gyökeres, Osman, Wood, yeah, exactly. There's no helping that. This is probably a horrible idea, but Gyökeres left wing, Havertz center forward as they can. Wait, how about this then? How about this then? Where is it? Let's check. Let's try this one out. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Wow. What about this then? Let's just. I'm gonna show you something in a second. Right? Give me a sec. I'm just, well, building up. Let's just put it that way. I'm building a squad. Rice. So there would be Gyökeres, Saka, Eze, and for the sake of an argument, what about this then? Something like Glasner plays, something similar like that. 4-3-2-1. Something in those lines. What about this? Drop Trossard. Oh, sorry, Havertz needs to be in there. Sorry. We can put it like this. Let's do it like this. What about something like this in these terms? Or put Havertz in the midfield, something in those lines, basically. Something similar that Glasner plays, 4-3-2-1, in those lines. Or if we go 5 at the back, we could try and fix that as well. As Ryan is saying, we could try 5 at the back as well. And everything. We could definitely try something. There's definitely arguments to be made. Gyökeres is not getting the ball played towards him. Exactly. Like I watched the games thus far, I'm screaming at the TV, pass to Gyökeres. They not create. Yeah, exactly. That is one of the biggest issues at the moment. They are not creating enough for Gyökeres, definitely. Gyökeres is also having to get back and defend. This is not what Gyökeres should be doing. Exactly, because when we push forward, he's out of breath and he cannot do anything. Wait, we about Gyökeres to still play Kai Havertz strike, in my opinion, that is idiotic. Exactly, that is idiotic. But there are top gooners, seriously most wanted. There are top gooners on X, Reddit, and YouTube even, by the way, TikTok and all these zesty places that are saying as soon as Havertz comes back from injury, drop Gyökeres. They're already saying that because Gyökeres has not scored enough. 3 goals in 7 games. They're already saying that. Saka is too greedy when it comes to Gyökeres. I watched he takes the shot from outright not to pass. Yeah, and that is one thing. I don't know whether it's what Mikel Arteta has said to these guys or what, but in general, Arteta didn't want Gyökeres. Arteta wanted Sesko. We all know that. We all know that Arteta wanted Sesko. And he basically lost that battle to Andrea Berta in terms of Gyökeres versus Sesko. I'm not saying that Arteta is coaching and doing his thing in a way that Gyökeres fails, but it surely seems that way. Because the one game Gyökeres actually has been decent is against Olympiacos. Because Odegaard had enough time to lift his head and do through balls between defenders. He actually got fed the ball. He actually looked decent, right? He didn't score, obviously, but that's a bit different story in those terms. The thing about the other part is, I don't know if he's set up to be a disaster because Odegaard doesn't pass to him. Eze is the one that actually passes more to Gyökeres than anyone else in those terms. The donkey can't run one-on-one. He misses the ball 5 yards in. He can't score from... Yeah, I know that. But he's somehow the next Jesus, yeah. But he doesn't score. Exactly. The fan base is nuts in those terms. The fan base is nuts. Saka should have gave the penalty to Gyökeres to build confidence. 100% agree. People should know now how he's not the captain, but know why. Exactly. But Saka had to take the penalty. Mikel Arteta probably said that to everyone, that Saka is going to take the penalty so they can push the PR. It looks nice on Arsenal's media, on Sky Sports media, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere, that Saka has gotten 100 goal involvements in 200 games. Because 100 in 200 is much more eye-pleasing than, let's just say, 100 goal involvements in 202 games, 203 games. It's the same as when you go to the mall, you do your shopping, and something costs, let's just say, £7.99. It's much more eye-pleasing than seeing eight pounds or €8. £7.99 for people is actually much more eye-pleasing than 800, because it seems cheaper, it seems better. You actually technically, it seems like you're saving something. It was all for pure PR in this stage. Well, we big up Saka too much for getting attached to these players that haven't won. Exactly. The attachments for certain players in general is insane. The amount of fans that actually care more about the player than the club is insane. Because so many interviews are circling on TikToks and everywhere. Would you sell Saka if that meant you guaranteed one Champions League or you win Premier League? About 60% said no. Where does that make sense? How come Saka is bigger than the club? Club success should be in the first place. But somehow for all these fans, players are more relevant than the club itself. Nothing is given. Nothing. This is business overall at the end of the day. And no player, no manager should be bigger than the club. But somehow with Arsenal is the straight opposite. Mikel Arteta is bigger than the club, according to this fan base. Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Havertz, all these guys, bigger than the club. Calafiori, bigger than the club. Because you can say, for example, Arsenal needs to improve on this. Top Gunners will be fine. They're not going to do anything to you. But as soon as you say, Arteta needs to improve on this, you simply replace word Arsenal with a word Arteta. Instantly, you're toxic, you're negative, fake fan, plastic fan, F off down the lane and support Spurs, and every single name in the world that curses you out comes to the play. It just shows that they care more about the person than actually the club. Saka took the penalty to stat pad his stinky performance. Exactly. Facts, bro. It's always for PR. Gyökeres will take the next one. Exactly. That will be the case 100%. What happened to Arteta saying a month ago or so, Gyökeres is Arsenal's main penalty taker. And we have seen Gyökeres take penalties for Arsenal, hence why he took one against Leeds. It wasn't anyone else. Saka is he is too much overhyped. Saka is a little jealous, I feel. I don't know, might be super wrong. We'll see. Saka pulled rank on Gyökeres to take the penalty. Well, exactly, basically PR and all this crap. My conclusion was when you get a hammer to unscrew a bolt, you may do it, but you may break the hammer in the process. It will break. Yeah, exactly. People are calling Saka world class. Sorry, but Saka is not world class. We have players that are close to being world class, but at the moment, at this given stage, for me personally, Arsenal don't have a world class player. We have players that are close to that, but we don't have a certified, let's just say, world class player. How can you be world class when your trophy cabinet is as dusty as Spurs trophy cabinet? Make that make sense. Saka would not get into 89, 91 Graham team or the bank. Oh, no chance in hell. Saka would not get, maybe he would get bench or nearest reserves, but there's no chance in hell he would be over Ljungberg, Pires, and all these men. No chance in hell. I'm not saying we are better without Saka, but the hype on Saka is like Salah, not even close. I've been watching Saka pull stinker after stinker because of a lucky goal and assist he gets away. Exactly. Obviously, Saka is also, to some extent, that good that he can basically have a stinker the whole game, but he pulls one out of the bag. And people instantly give him man of the match. He's the best thing since sliced bread, and nobody comes near. But GA doesn't paint over the main issue at hand. He had a shit game. If he doesn't randomly pull one out of the hat, Arsenal lose or we draw. Like that means nothing at the end of the day, does it? I would sell Saka over Rice, Saliba, and Gabriel. I agree with that. I'm not gonna lie. As weird as it sounds, I agree with that. Replacing Saliba or Gabriel is the toughest two players to replace in this squad, in my opinion. Because Saliba is one of those techie, nice ones, modern type of center backs, cool, calm, nice on the ball, right? Those are easier to find than other center backs. Replacing Gabriel, in my opinion, would be the biggest bitch in the world because there is not enough these hardcore, old school type of level center backs in world football who likes to get their fingers dirty, who will genuinely cuss you out, who can do everything: attack, defend, talk trash, and do pass the ball and do it like seriously. Like Gabriel is one of those that replacing them seems nearly impossible to some extent. For me personally, replacing Gabriel is much tougher than replacing Saliba. But overall, Saka would be easier to replace than Rice, Saliba, or Gabriel in Arsenal's team 100% in my opinion. Difference between world class and elite: Saka is elite. Gabi and Saliba are close to world class. Timber is in the talks. Rice is elite. The rest, I get it. In your opinion, Timber is world class. I think Timber is, I would say, one of the best right backs in the league. Top 2 right backs in the league, if not the top at the moment. Obviously. There are maybe 1 or 2 you can put in the same talking space. Timber is an elite right back for me. Elite. Is he world class right now? No, he's not. He is as well close. For me personally, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, and Timber are close to being world class. But for me to be world class, you need trophies to back it up. And so far, all of them have as many trophies as Spurs, pretty much. Pretty much none, let's be real. I think Jurrien Timber actually might have more trophies just because he has won them at Ajax. That is the only difference, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Timber has 5 trophies to his name. Timber has what? Well, English Cup winner, that doesn't count. He was Football of the Year. He has been Dutch champion 2 times. He has won the Dutch Cup, and he has won the Dutch Under-17 Cup. So overall, yeah, he's the most decorated one of them all. He's not taking on his man in his backward sideways. Can't remember a time recently to be honest, like the last Saka actually is the nuts part is against Newcastle. He was decent when we had the handbrake off. He was actually decent. As soon as the handbrake went back, well, he disappeared. Well, that was the last world class we had. Alexis. For me, Alexis as well. I would say Alexis as well was there. For me, Ozil and Alexis. I would say Alexis was the last world-class player Arsenal had. Aubameyang would have been close if we won stuff, but he didn't win enough. For me, Alexis is the last world-class player we had. Calafiori will be found out. He'll get... Dude, he already has been found out. Calafiori has 3 yellows. I think he is 1 yellow, 2 yellows away from getting instant 1-match ban. That's how close he is to this. Calafiori is this close. Yeah, Calafiori is 2 yellows away from getting automatic 1-match ban. In 7 games, he has 3 yellows. That is as well unacceptable. Alexis Sanchez. See, people tend to agree. Yeah, I'd replace Saliba with Zabarny. Although he's at PSG, it won't be possible to get him out at the moment. And it's not countrymanship, not that I even rate Ilya. But both him and Saliba are anchormen. They stay closer to the goal and defend more. Gabriel's more progressive defender. I can see that. Gabriel, for me, is more of an old school type of smash and grab defender, which I absolutely love. And obviously, you need to kind of complement that with a more calm, more chill out anchor type of defender, which is more Saliba. And it works perfectly, hence why you could argue they are the best partnership in the league. Definitely. But to replace them, I'm telling you, replacing Saliba would be 10 times harder than replacing Gabriel, in my opinion. The question is, if Saliba goes, would you take Murillo or someone like that to replace him? That is not a question to be had. But that's, I think, story for a different stream in general. Definitely story for a different stream. Alexis Sanchez, Ozil was not world-class. He's a cherry on top of the cake kind of player. He needs other good players alongside. Yeah, that's why he looked good at Real Madrid. Yeah, Ozil had Real Madrid assist record for the season. And they sold him, just like next season, Di Maria had the assist record for the season for Real Madrid, and they sold him. Like, yeah. Our center backs are good. They win a trophy. I'll consider them world-class. Same. As soon as our defenders start to win and everyone, yes. Because our defense has proven that they're solid enough to have the best defense in the league. They have proven that once everyone's fit, they're solid as a rock. Only thing missing from them is the trophies. They can score, they can defend, they can pass, they can do everything. Only thing missing from Timba, Gabriel, Saliba, even Saka to some extent, are trophies. There's nothing to back it up, all the talk many people have. If Arsenal had this team, he would do it in a heartbeat, definitely. Saliba and Gabriel are the best partnership in football at the moment. Reminds me of Vidic and Ferdinand. Well, I can see that. Maybe not Vidic and Ferdinand, but definitely they are. You could argue they are the best center-back partnership in the league. Definitely, without shadow of doubt. In world football, yeah, you could make that argument as well. Obviously, they have 1-0, so it's a bit of a moot point debate. But the defensive record speaks for itself. Let's be real in those terms, definitely. But yeah, we'd won the Premier League years Arsene Wenger was manager. Yeah. With this team, Wenger would have won Premier League 2 times in a row at least. Without shadow of doubt. But yeah, people, I think on that note, wait. I need to see 2 times trophies this season, the Premier League, Champions League, and one of the FA or Carabao. Yes, I need 2 trophies this season, without shadow of a doubt. For me, FA Cup or Carabao Cup would be fantastic, but it's not enough anymore. I need the majors. After 6.5, 7 years, blasting all the money, billions spent, Carabao Cup and FA Cup just doesn't cut it anymore. It's time for the majors. And if you cannot deliver, get out of the club. That's about it at the end of the day. But yeah, people, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. If you haven't already, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Hopefully going to see you all tomorrow. Let's see what tomorrow brings and what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But for today, I'm going to be signing off. So have a nice evening. Big up Gunner for life. Big up. Have a nice evening. Tomorrow's Monday, so have a great Monday tomorrow as well. So hopefully we'll see something. Hopefully we see something nice. I still haven't figured out what we're gonna talk about during international break. So if you have any ideas of streams we can talk, discuss, and everything on stream during international break, leave them all in the comments down below, or I will post tomorrow on my timeline, on the feed, on the posts, basically a thread. Basically, I will put out a post and leave your comments what you want to talk about on streams down there as well. But for today, I'm signing off. Take care, have a nice evening, and see you soon. Peace.